Uju relatives, Shangwewe Kamigukwe Indigenous. I'm Jamie Kellicott with HIR Wellness Institute. I'm our Community Engagement and Indigenous Affairs Director, and we are live for Emotional Sobriety today on this beautiful Friday. We are wrapping up our week, getting ready for the weekend, and I have our smudge going to start us off in a good way. And if you have sacred medicines at home, I would encourage you to take some time right now to get those together, have some water. Here's some smudge for all of you. Before we get started, I would love to introduce my colleagues here. Xavier, I'm going to pass it to you. How are you doing today, Xavier?
I am doing well. Thank you so much, Jamie. Hello, relatives. Welcome to another week of emotional sobriety with us. We're so happy that you could join us. For those of you that are new, welcome. We know this isn't our normal time. So, we like to have little surprises every once in a
Every
while.
now and
No.
then. Every now and then a surprise.
Right, but yeah, absolutely. Happy to be here as always. Again, my name is Xavier. I am a community healer and counselor here at HIR Wellness. Being able to support in many different ways, have many different roles here, and one of them really being able to support our relatives, that is you all, every Friday with this group, as well as individual therapy and counseling. So I'm just excited to be here and looking forward to our conversation today and just being in this space. So thank you.
Miigwech, Xavier. John, how are you doing?
Yeah, I'm doing really good. Thank you so much, Jamie. And hi, relatives. Thank you for joining us every Friday for Emotional Sobriety. I just love being here with Xavier and Jamie every Friday, just to kind of help heal everyone and ourselves. Um, and just a little bit about me. I'm a social work intern, and then I also help with just a little bit of everything. I help with our Survivors of Suicide Thursday Zoom group, emotional sobriety, moderating on Friday mornings, and also other Facebook Lives, such as the Children's Fire Book Club on Wednesday at 1 p.m., and also counseling. So you'll see me in all sorts of different spaces, and I'm just so glad to be here with you every Friday. Thank you so much.
Thank you, John. Thank you, Xavier. Oh, relatives, it's another Friday, and we are feeling wonderful. There's sun outside that is beautiful. We have many reminders around us of all the good things that are going on around us. And one of those good things that we always bring is our meditations. We read a book out of Meditations with Native American Elders. And Xavier, I would love it if you would bring your voice back into this space. And would you be able to read us today's meditation?
Yes, absolutely. Thank you, Jamie. So, this will be our elders' meditation of the day. There's a deep wound in people that they have been so cut off from the source of their being, their mother, their earth mother. Francis Story Talbot II, Medicine Story, Wampago. When we are connected to the earth mother, or when we are clear on our purpose, we will feel connected and safe. We will feel love. When we are disconnected from the earth mother, or we don't know who we are or why we are, we will feel pain. It will be similar to a little child who has lost its mother. We will hurt inside. We will be wounded within. If this happens to the whole community, the people will be very sad and lost. It will seem like there is death in the air. When this happens, it is time for ceremony and reconnection to God and Mother Earth. This is the time of prayer. Great mystery, today, help me to stay connected to the earth and to you, my creator.
That was wonderful. Thank you. Miigwech, Xavier.
You're welcome.
I have to say that this meditation, it reminds me that we can have ceremony with anything. And it also reminds me that when we find ourselves really out of balance, many times there's a piece that we're missing, and it could be that spiritual connection to whatever you connect with. And I say that as a reminder because I noticed this for myself. I noticed that when I am feeling out of sorts, when I am feeling like things are bothering me more than they normally do, I sit down and take a look at what have I been doing spiritually? Have I been connecting with the earth? And if I haven't been spending time in nature, that's where I really love to go to. And I notice that when I am feeling off balance, it's because I haven't gone outside to lay tobacco, or I haven't spent time among the trees and just feeling, putting my hand on the trees, or just sort of resting up against them. That's what I like to do, or just seeing the birds on the trees and hearing them and feeling the wind. And so just, yeah, connecting, reconnecting to Mother Earth. It's really important. I myself have been walking in recovery. So I've been walking the Red Road for over 6 years from alcohol. And so many of the things that we talk about during our time here with emotional sobriety, I understand fully because I've lived it. And so that's kind of where I come from. And, sometimes we'll share a little bit about our story. We will always read from our book. We have a workbook that we use. And relatives, we are modeling what a private Zoom group would look like for emotional sobriety. We're hoping that we can have one in the summertime. So if there is anyone who is interested, please reach out to us. John is moderating for us. He moderates every Friday for us. So any comments that you see are John, that's him talking to you. And he'll put information into the comments so that you know where to reach out to us, how to get a hold of us. And relatives, if you ever feel like bringing your voice into this space, please do add your comments. We would love to hear what you think about the meditation, and how you're doing today. Really, we are going to have a shortened Facebook Live today because our energy has to be pulled in another direction as soon as we're finished with our live. And so sometimes that happens, right? Sometimes we have a schedule and we think that we've got it all figured out and we got a good plan in place. And then sometimes that changes. And that's a really healthy thing to be able to understand and practice, because life doesn't always go as expected. And that is okay. That is completely okay if life does not go as expected. We do feel strongly about always connecting some way, shape, or form on Fridays with you all for emotional sobriety. So even though we have to be a little bit shortened, that's okay, because we'll be back again next Friday. And there's always, all of the past videos are on our Facebook page that you can connect with at any time. We have 24/7 support through our resources on our Facebook page, our YouTube page, and our podcast. So there is a lot of information out there for anyone who is feeling like they need a little bit of extra support. I just wanted to mention that quick, and I will show you, hopefully it'll show. So maintaining emotional sobriety during COVID-19. This workbook we've been using for the last quite a few weeks. We are up to chapter 5 in the book, and what we're talking about today is a really important topic, especially for those of us who are walking the red road, or maybe just thinking about it. Maybe we do use substances or eating or any number of things to help us cope. And so today we're talking about numbing ourselves, self-medicating, using some of those other outside forces to help us cope that maybe aren't so healthy for us. Maybe they're not the best choice, right? And we're just going to talk a little bit about that. I'm going to get us started by reading a couple paragraphs out of our workbook, and then we're going to just talk about it and see what happens. We're all feeling somewhat disorientated during this time of COVID-19. We're wondering when this will end and how life will be afterwards. We're uncertain. We feel trapped in a sort of limbo, if not in our actual homes. Add to that historical pain that may get triggered, and you have a cocktail, a perfect storm as it were, that can set you up to slip into moodiness, fear, irritability, and overreaction. It can pile up and become bigger than it needs to be. It can lead to self-medication. Reports already show that liquor sales are up. But using alcohol to manage your mood not only reduces your physical immunity, a known fact, it reduces your emotional immunity as well. Drugs, alcohol, food, sex, and spending are temporary mood managers. They feel good in the moment, but they leave a trail of effects that can undermine your feeling of emotional fitness to meet the challenges of your day. You need extra rest, extra true calm, and extra self-discipline at a moment like this. Drinking to help you deal with being home with the kids will not help. Seeing how grief might be manifesting for you can be a first step in healing it. Unprocessed, hidden grief that is the result of previous trauma can wear many masks and can pop out when and where we least expect it. Some manifestations of unconscious grief they might look like, and I'm just going to name some of these. Some of that unconscious grief might look like sudden angry outbursts, rage, excessive rumination, so thinking about a lot of things and these thoughts just kind of keep going around and around. Chronic negativity, so everything we see is negative, or someone gives us a compliment, it's like, no, actually I'm pretty stupid, or nope, that would never work out. Being easily triggered into overly intense emotional reactions or underreactions shutting down. Maybe we just close ourselves off. We don't show or express our thoughts or our emotions. Recurring or long-lasting depression, so feeling sad all for a long time. Something that's, I'm not just talking about like every now and then you're just feeling a little down. This would be something that's lasting for a very long time, and it's continuous. Like you really feel like you just can't get yourself to feel better at all. Chronic anxiety, so anxiety that lasts a really long time. It's coming up for you a lot. Self-mutilation and self-harming. Caretaking behavior, excessive guilt, constant crying or feeling weepy. Maybe you just have low mood or a little sad, excessive anxiety, emotional numbness or constriction, shame, codependency, body health related issues, soreness or stiffness, a desire to self-medicate. So I say those pieces as they're just some of the things, right, that might come up. It's not an all extensive list. It could be all kinds of things. Ways in that our unconscious grief is kind of manifesting into. And so when I say unconscious grief, I am talking about things that we haven't processed yet, pains that we're carrying still. Things that may have happened in our environment or that we've experienced. I'm also talking about intergenerational trauma that has happened. So there really are, intergenerationally, there is pain that has been passed down generation to generation. And eventually, you know what happens is somebody decides, I want to heal. I want to do this differently. I want to feel different. When we start working on ourselves, We are healing all of those generations before us, and we are healing generations in front of us, our future generations. By that, by that simple, that's not simple, single act of starting to heal ourselves. I think that's pretty beautiful. That's pretty beautiful. And you know what? If you are feeling any of those things that I just mentioned, it's okay. You're okay. We've been there before. It's okay. It is okay to not feel okay. And it's actually pretty healthy to be able to recognize when you're having some of those feelings and be able to sit there for a moment. Just try to sit with the uncomfortable for a moment and recognize it. And then we move ourselves to one of our tools that we've learned over the past many weeks. Might be deep breathing, might be walking in nature, it might be sipping water, meditation, listening to music, artwork, any number of things. Xavier, what are you thinking about? When I read that, just like what kind of things were coming up for you that you were feeling like, Spirit is telling me I need to talk about this.
Yeah. Thank you for reading that. Absolutely. You know, I think what stood out to me was just the list of ways that unconscious grief can manifest. Um, you know, and that there are so many different ways that we don't realize, right? Again, that you know, sometimes what we're feeling that there's something deeper there, right? And I think for me, just you know, in exploring and looking through this list, there's definitely, you know, some that I continuing to heal from, continuing to work through, right? On myself, you know, struggling some often with, you know, excessive guilt, right? What that can look like is feeling guilty for, you know, being able to just kind of relax, right? Giving ourselves permission to take a deep breath and take a break. I know, you know, especially during this time, it can be difficult, right? Because there's again so much uncertainty and so much not knowing what things will look like afterwards, right? So there may be times where you're like, I have to keep going. I need to figure these things out, right? And then when you give yourself or you find yourself taking a time to just kind of relax, there may be this voice or this sudden urge of like, I shouldn't be doing this, right? Like I should be, you know, I should be preparing for once things calm down. I should be preparing for, you know, fill in the blank or whatever that may look like. And you know, I think just wanted to highlight that is something that can manifest during this time. This idea of, you know, feeling guilty for relaxing or taking time to just breathe or spend time with the kids or giving them permission not to, you know, do homework or do something, right? And feeling some form of guilt in that way. And you know, I just want to say that it's okay to relax. So this is like a message to myself as well as you all relatives, and that's the beauty of this group is, you know, through talking through things, we talk to ourselves as well. So, you know, just with that it's okay to breathe and relax every once in a while, you know, to watch a good movie. It's okay to scroll on Facebook and watch videos that make you laugh, right? It's okay if you're a TikTok user. I just so happen to, I don't know, I gave into the hype, everyone, and just, I'm there. So sometimes I find myself just going down the rabbit hole, and, you know, it's okay to do that from time to time, right? And giving ourselves that opportunity to just kind of relax and take a deep breath, right? Especially with all of these things going on. So, you know, I just wanted to touch base on that, and that's really what's standing out to me. It's just the different ways that some of the grief and feelings can kind of arise during this time. So,
Mm-hmm. Miigwech. Thank you,
mhm,
Xavier.
you're
Thank you for
welcome.
sharing that. John, was there anything, in that reading, either in the meditation or in the workbook, anything at all that, is kind of sitting with you?
Yeah, definitely in the book when it talks about like just depression, 'cause they know that during this time, we're restricted on what you can do and where you can go and who you can see. So for me, I know it was definitely challenging, especially being a social worker at the beginning of the pandemic and seeing people, and then now you're not able to see people and you're restricted to working strictly at home. And then, for me, it's always been so difficult to focus and get things done when I'm at home. There's like 10,000 things I'd rather do than work at home. And then also, it's just a depression of, is this going to get better? How long is this pandemic going to be? And it's just so important to remind yourself that, it may seem like it's going to be forever, but it's only temporary and it will get better. And, things will return back to a new normal. It may not be completely back to normal, but sometimes it's good to adjust to a new normal.
Mm-hmm.
And I feel like the pandemic also brought some positivity too. And just think about the positivity that it brought, like what Xavier said, just taking that time and breathe. I don't think we had much time to breathe when we were running around before pandemic, working and doing everything else. So as horrible or as bad as it seems, there is little pieces of good things that happen from it. And also, I know for me, when I left my job, it's just the depression of, oh yeah, you're not working hard enough. And I know for many people who may be struggling to find a job or are currently unemployed, a lot of those depressions and those thoughts are coming back up, and a lot of those, negative thoughts. And just understand that, it's okay. Um, to be struggling right now because things will get better, and keep trying and staying positive. It's okay to not feel, the greatest every single day.
Mm-hmm.
And like what Jamie said, to kind of sit with it, but then just don't allow yourself to sit with it for too long. Use your coping skills, the coping skills that we've been talking about the last few weeks. Yeah.
Absolutely. Thank you, John. Was there any comments at all, John?
I haven't seen any yet.
Okay. All right. Thank you. So, because we're doing a shortened version of Facebook Live today for emotional sobriety, I thought I would have us just reflect. So, John, let's add a reflection question into the chat, into the comments today. And then next week, when we pick back up, next week is going to be a continuation of self medication, self medicating ourselves, because this is a big topic that we could spend a lot, that we really should spend a lot of time on. It deserves a lot of time, and we are just scratching the surface. We are just little tiny bit that we mentioned today. Is so what the reflection question would be, relatives, if you could just sit and think about this up until next week when we come back together. And all I want you to think about is, out of that list that we talked about, that we mentioned earlier, what are some of the what do you feel are some of the manifestations that you see in your life that are stemming from unconscious grief or pain? So what are some of those manifestations that are popping up in your life that you're noticing for yourself? Just one. That's it. Just find one. Just think about one thing. Um, if I was saying, so I'm reflecting on this right now and I'm looking at this list. I would say I think that for me right now, I'm thinking about food. For me, so I have been walking in recovery from alcohol addiction, right? I know that I am an emotional eater. And I do know that for myself, there is some sort of connection to my body, to being, to be a survivor for something. There is something there with being a survivor of sexual assault and domestic violence. I noticed something about myself quite a few years ago, and that I would be able to be on a like I would be on a good schedule of feel like getting myself well physically and eating right. And then as soon as I started noticing positive results in that, someone would comment and someone would say, like, it could be anybody. Anyone would give me a compliment, and for some reason it changed my trajectory of what I was doing. So there's something there for myself, and I recognize that. I have insight in that there is something that's connected with my experiences from the trauma in my past, to the fact that I no longer use substances as a way to cope. So I have other healthy coping skills, but I still have this piece of haven't figured out yet how to truly be in complete balance for my physical health, for myself. And so I'm going to be reflecting on that, on how that manifests for me. So that's my example to you, is that think about something, whatever it is. It could be anything. It might be sadness, anxiety. It might be maybe you always notice that when that there's some manifestation of like I don't know. I seem to like always. I'm always. Maybe there was something culturally that you connected with, or spiritually. Maybe you stopped smudging, or maybe you stopped using tobacco. You know, offering tobacco to Mother Earth. Maybe you stopped meditating, or whatever. So just think about that and what you think that's connected to. Just think about it. Reflect on it. Relatives, we are going to wrap up. And what I would love is, Xavier, could you bring your voice back into this space and would you close us out today with some final words?
Yes.
Thank you.
um, I know, yeah, today was super short, um, but we will next week dive a little bit deeper as we do so well. So we just thank each and every one of you that are here with us, that will watch this later in the future. Thank you all for being with us and just continuing to allow us to hold this virtual space for you all. Know that you are enough, that you are loved, and that you are worthy of healing and goodness in your life. And I think that that's all I have, and I hope that you all have a great and wonderful weekend. Hopefully, the sun stays shining,
Yes.
so that we all can enjoy it. For those of us in the Midwest, at least. um, and with that, I think those are my final thoughts and my final words. So thank you.
Thank you, relatives. Thank you, Xavier. John, do you want to say any final last words?
Yeah, I would love to. And then just also very quickly, Avery did comment saying that she's getting ready to head out for her massage, and she's
Good.
listening and having a really hard time, I believe. Wait, listening but not really having time to respond, but wanted to say hi and happy Friday.
Oh,
Aw, Boozoo, Avery.
thank
Thank
you.
you. You got to be safe, Avery, now. So if
Right.
you're driving, put that phone down.
Absolutely. And enjoy that massage.
Yes. Enjoy. That is beautiful self care. Oh my gosh.
Yeah, I just love that, the self-care is so important. And, I think that that's so important, especially nowadays We're almost, I start to see the finish line for COVID, with everyone getting their vaccination and taking care of themselves, starting to see the light and just staying strong and just staying motivated and taking care of yourself. Even if you're not doing okay, just be kind to yourself is so important because oftentimes we look for the negative and taking that time to step back and view, little glimpse of positive that's going on in your life right now and holding on to that and cherishing those moments.
Thank you. Thank you, John. Thank you, Xavier. Relatives, we will see you next week, Friday. Have a beautiful, beautiful weekend. Enjoy the sun. Love yourself. Don't forget to do something that shows yourself love. And you are worthy and you are enough. And we will see you very soon. Sending you lots of love.